Hello everybody, Brook and Margaret from Stickmen Media. Today we are doing we're broadcasting the development of our game After the Light, a zombie horror game, and today we're joined by Linda, who is going to take us through the what would you call it, the tweening animations of King Leon, probably.
In between animation.
Yeah. Okay, so I will start that movie off on the background.
Like the surface.
You like faces?
Yeah.
Cool.
Lincoln's do one for everyone.
Yeah, we should get everybody's.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well, there I am looking heroic with my camera stand.
And you're not ridiculous characters you have face on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Firstly, we just go to the reference video to find that part. This part is we are going to change doing the animation between like a link animation from the idle pose to the attack pose, the fight pose.
Okay.
It's because normally we just like doing the blend the animation in Unreal, but because the sword holding position is actually different, like the idle pose, the hand.
And is this way up?
Yeah.
Yep.
And the fighting pose is like that. So the palm is actually forward you, and the standing is like the palm, the hand is forward to.
Yeah. So essentially, my hand is upside down on the sword, so it's right way up on the sword when the sword thing is pointing down. But to use it, I actually need my hand up the other way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you are clear to me.
Well, it's actually not a very clear thing to explain, but
it is difficult.
I think people will, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't stand with your sword like that. You'd be in an awkward position holding your sword like that, but it'd be ready to use. But it's, yeah. And there's King Leon with his camera tripod. Well, no, he's got a sword.
Yes.
I have pointed out it was a very lucky find that the camera tripod made such an excellent sword. Because we did not have a sword on hand.
Yeah, oddly enough, we didn't have a giant, oversized fucking boss sword lying around.
No.
Imagine
We
that.
should have one.
We should. Everyone should.
I'm
actually quite disappointed that we don't.
Sorry?
We need set a wall and put lots of weapons.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
On
the
our
weapon
wall.
wall, yeah,
a big
absolutely.
weapon wall. Yeah. When we've done enough games, we can do that. A big weapon wall.
Yeah. The weapons from every game.
I did want to 3D print that crossbow. That's great.
Yes.
We should do the same with the pistols. And
Yeah. Now we are adding those front and side view reference videos.
mm-hmm.
The main part for the video is I want to check how the arm is moving,
Mm-hmm.
and for the start pose and end pose, actually they have other animations to follow, so I don't need the same pose as the reference. So the important part is just they move the right hand, right arm, and then just to copy other start pose and end pose from the idle and fight animation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And is that the start and end poses that we're looking at there?
Yeah, I think is I create another reference file into the scene and copy the same pose from the file to this animation file as the end pose.
I'm curious to see what you do to actually put him back in the pose where he's standing with the sword like that. Because I never did that, did I? I never actually went back and put the sword back that way.
You have a pose is like from here and to...
Yep.
Yes.
But I never did the reverse, went and put it back.
Oh, yeah, no.
So you had to do that
But yeah,
instead. Yeah.
I have already checked if we after I finish this animation and I'm going just play back. It looks good.
Okay. Otherwise we would have had to do that again just to...
Yeah.
Alright, so working specifically with the skeleton here.
Yeah.
And we can see all those nice bones for his leather skirt.
I'm really pleased that my clothes don't have bones in them.
Yeah. Well, the panels of his leather skirt are quite stiff, so they can have bones.
Mind you, if I was wearing a corset right now, it would have bones in.
True. But we probably wouldn't model them, strangely.
No.
Because they would absolutely restrict the movement that you would be using bones to show.
Don't really enjoy the idea of wearing a corset, to be fair.
I've seen you in a corset. You wore one to a steampunk
For
party.
a
that we
party,
went
yes.
to. Yeah.
I didn't like it. No sir, can't say I liked it.
I remember going with a friend to a burlesque show, and she was wearing a corset, and she wanted me to tighten it up for her. So out in the car park, I tightened up her corset
Yeah.
so that it was nice and tight. And she went inside. Yeah, went inside and she had a drink of beer, but she was barely drinking any. And I said, "Is everything okay?" And she said, "The bubbles hurt." So we had to loosen her corset.
Yeah, the only experience for me to wear a corset is when we have the wedding ceremony, and it's I was thinking about maybe it's a very beautiful time, but actually after I wear that dress, it nearly killed me.
Horrible, hey.
Yes.
Absolutely horrible
Yeah,
feeling.
just like the
That's me.
oh, you
Excuse
just
me.
said keep your breath, just breathe out and like that.
Yeah.
And just quickly tied up, and I just I can't breathe.
Yeah. Yeah, apparently breathing isn't as important as
Looking
being
good.
very strangely shaped.
Yeah.
Not sure what that's about.
Of course, I think corsets certainly look good, but yeah, you do pay a price for it. Like
You don't pay a price
you
for
can
it
only
unless
exhale.
you're wearing the corset.
Well, you don't know.
Okay.
Don't know what I do on my weekends.
No, well, if it involves a corset, then you understand the price. Good. Okay, moving on. Fuck. Weird territory.
Back to the
Yeah,
video.
please.
Just finished to copy the end pose for here.
Mm-hmm.
And so currently we have the start pose for the idle pose for the first frame, and the end frame. Just calculate the time from the reference video to set end time frame, and copy another file pose to here, so they could just keep them, not move them at all, and then you add the other middle keyframes from those reference video.
Okay.
I was thinking about it might be easy to create this one, but because the sword is need to follow the hand, so it's kind of like tricky for me to finish this part.
Yeah. Actually, looking at those pictures of myself as reference, I could see I could do with a corset.
Yeah, it looks like you are a tutor to
Yeah.
teach
Come on, Leon, this is how you do it.
Yeah. Grab
Yeah,
your
yeah.
sword like this.
That's so true. That's hilarious. That's awesome.
Wonder if we could do a render of him doing the pose seconds after me doing the pose.
They look
So
really
we
good
can
there. He
actually-
looked really hesitant though. You were like, come on, so like this, and he's like standing there, kind of looking a bit like, oh, like this then.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
It's one of our the making of videos is yeah. If we did a proper render
Yes,
of him,
exactly.
it's yeah me teaching King Leon swordsmanship.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Fucking marvelous. Love it.
Action guide.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. So no, you hold it like this, you dick. You've got it the wrong way around.
Why you're
Look,
so
already
dumb?
he's like, no, like that. Fuck yeah.
That's interesting.
That's yeah. It's marvelous.
Getting really impatient with him. God, for fuck's sakes, buddy.
Yeah. Anyone would
This
think
way.
you've been dead for 1,000 years.
For the sword, for this period of the animation, I actually have two parts to work on the sword. One part is when the sword is still hit on the ground. So I set a pair of IK controller to make the sword just will always keep on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And then after his arm is raising the sword to the air. So after the sword just leave from the ground, I will parent to the another sword to his arm, so he could freely to move the sword. But another sword is still on the ground, so that's the two parts animation. After I finish whole the animation, I will just copy the keyframes from another one.
Mm-hmm.
Bake the animation keyframes for every keys, every frames, and then just copy the front part to the second part, so the sword could follow just like firstly just leave on the ground, then go just follow the arm.
Mm-hmm. I don't actually understand much of that at all.
Yeah,
But for some reason you have two swords.
yes, it's
And that sword remains in place during the, I assume, from this first frame.
Yeah, it's
to
just,
the
just
final
like
frame.
another pair of the sword, and the two part is the front part is the sword won't follow by the hand,
Mm-hmm.
but the second part is followed by the hand.
Okay.
And just because the front part,
So this is just to make sure you end up in the right place again, is it?
yes.
Okay. I've sort of got that.
It's complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's complicated. Even when I was doing that, I was still confused on how to place those two things.
So you must be getting very familiar with King Leon now.
Uh-huh.
You've been working with him almost continuously over 3 weeks, haven't you? Yeah. To get all his animations and stuff together.
Yeah.
So yeah, so he's a good deal harder than anybody else we've had to work with,
Yeah.
or that you've had to work with in this game, at least.
The most difficult part for King Leon is I need to make the two hands together and to hold the same sword.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, now you've got it right. Oh, well done. Call yourself a boss. Jesus. It's gone very quiet.
Well, yes, sorry, didn't interact with you there. But
Oh, no, I wasn't actually commenting on that. Just it has gone very quiet.
yeah, I was watching there because there's two swords being picked up, so my original guess at why there's two swords is not right.
For this part, is the sword is not exactly in the same angle is because
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, I did the idle animation. It's my first animation without the reference, so we actually didn't have we haven't decided the sword positions in the front or the
Mhm.
back. So after I watched the reference video, and then I have to change the sword position a little bit, so we can just follow the animation
Yeah.
reference.
Make sure that the blade, make sure that
The blade.
Yes.
the blade ends up on the correct slicing angle
Yeah.
after he does all this.
Yeah,
The blade ends up on the right slicing
so I
angle.
changed the start pose for the arm and the sword as a different one. So
Mhm.
after that, I just go back to the idle animation to make the basic pose is the same as the first frame one.
I gather
So-
that was meant for you.
Yeah. Yep. Nerf bullet to the wrong human. That counts as a fail. Oh, look at you staring into the distance together. Look very companionable.
But like buds, do you think? I reckon we'd be buds.
I reckon you would, yeah.
Actually, he's a bit of a wanker when because he's not actually in the first part of the book now, but he used to be in the first part of the book, and it was sort of a prologue, I guess, to the story, just so that you knew his history. But then I had a Christchurch writer actually have a read of an early draft of the book, and she said, "You're spending a lot of time explaining this guy, but he's only in one scene at the end of the book, so just eliminate him and let people understand what's going on, for themselves. You can just say he's an ancient king that was there. That's all you need to do." So he completely disappeared out of the first part of the book, but it's still an interesting part of the story, or was an interesting part of the story, where you really get to see what his character was.
You must have really liked him if you spent that much time on him.
I did, because he was a bit of a he was a bit of a bastard. I was just going to say bastard, but with a C.
Yeah.
He was a
Yeah.
bit of a custard.
Yep, that's right. Yes, that was obvious.
Yeah, so I think when you first meet him, he's walking with his soldiers outside the city walls, having a look at the city he's going to conquer, essentially. And one of the soldiers is, having a bit of a complaint about how cold it is, and he says, "Come now, soldier. Cold armour never killed anybody." And one of the captains says, "Well, actually, sir," and he starts, and the king stares him down, and he goes, "Yes, sir." And he leaves it. Because apparently cold armour does kill people. So.
Right. Well, it makes sense, yes.
Yeah.
I saw a video of somebody rescuing themselves from falling through the ice into water on Facebook. He did it voluntarily to demonstrate how it should be done.
How should it be done? I do worry about that.
I don't.
Not that the lake that we walk on is ever terribly deep. Like if we went through the ice, we'd be like knee deep.
What lake
Lake Linden.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, you wouldn't drown in that. Well, you'd be pushing.
Splash. Ah,
Yeah.
my legs are frozen.
No, there's quite a technique to it. But the first thing to do is to get beyond the shock.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you start flailing around while you're still in shock, you just have to let it pass, apparently. Because if you start to flail around, then you'll fuck it up and do stupid things. And you'll hurt yourself. So you've just got to wait for a couple of seconds and
Okay.
take it easy. Also, if you happen to go in and over your head, then you'll gasp. And you don't want to do that. So you just want to acclimatise for a second. I don't think I want to acclimatise to freezing cold water for a second, but anyway.
No, but you only have a few minutes to get out before your limbs actually stop working, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have very long.
Nope, but you better make the most of it. Anyway, I diverge.
Yes, yes.
He looks a bit limp-wristed there. But he's
Him
trying.
or me?
Ha! You. No, him. It looks like he's trying out the pose next to Brook. It's really quite funny.
There. I'm sure we could do a funny rendering of it.
I'm sure we should. Like, is it like that? No. It's like showing how teaching somebody to hold the reins on a horse for the first time. Oh my god. People keep dropping in and out. I don't think they appreciate our humour. Or our silence, mayhaps.
No, perhaps the silence. It is the thing that loses people. Dead air, apparently. So, as long as you keep it entertaining, people stay on.
Depends what you call entertaining.
Well, you know, that's different for different presenters. Dr. Disrespect would no doubt entertain everybody with his...
I know, it was just anyway. It was
One with his character, two with his dummy spits when he gets killed. He enjoys PUBG right up to the point where somebody kills him and then he's absolutely ferociously annoyed about it.
It looks like Batman in that.
Who's Batman? He does?
Leon, yeah.
Yeah.
Look at him with his cape and his wee horns.
Well, he's actually got wings and horns on that helmet there, so there's quite a lot going on.
Look at that. Look, Batman. Silence again.
I don't know why, but do you know that? Don't know why it reminded me of it, but do you know what I'm missing on my playlist that I haven't? It disappeared somewhere, and I haven't had it for years, but I should put it on there. Remember Gary Jules' Mad World? I like that song.
Vaguely, but I don't know.
Played it on Donnie Darko.
Okay.
No idea why him looking like Batman reminded me of
there we
that.
go. Oh.
Well,
Okay.
save us, Linda. Tell us something sensible about what's going on.
He's trying to find his sword there. He's like, oh no. Groping for the sword
Yeah,
with his other hand.
Kimi is still learning how to.
Yeah. It's really funny. This video looks more than any other video like he's learning to do something.
Yeah.
Even when Brook's not in the picture, he's like trying to find this. Looks like he's trying to find the sword with his head.
Yeah.
Can't find it. Missing. That's hilarious. Oh yeah. I think I got it now. Fuck, that's funny.
I'm sure we could make it, say.
Yeah. But you know, he's sort of groping around for it. Trying to find the right grip, right angle.
I am going to have fun doing the outtake videos for this. What we need, I know these models are complex, but what we need is to be able to actually use digital puppets to have somebody actually act this stuff and the model move in real time.
In real time, yeah. As opposed to motion capture.
Hmm.
What does that take?
I don't know, maybe we can do it with Sergi's thing. As long as we've got... it would have to be a simplified version of the model, so pretty sure.
Would that get you what you wanted?
Maybe. Maybe if you have a look at all that real-time puppet stuff like Face Rig, the models do tend to be very simple. So it just might not work with ours, but...
Yeah, if you do that, then doesn't the model have to be similar enough to the human puppet, so to speak, the human puppet master?
Yeah, you need some points on the...
or it's all going to go weird, isn't it?
Yeah, you need some anchor points on the model that you are actually tracking in the...
Well, yes, but they've got
in the
to
camera
relate
software.
to correctly. They have to map correctly, anatomically correctly. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes, anatomically correctly, and more than that, like with this guy, if I, as Linda discovered when she was doing this, if I actually acted out for this guy in real time, there would be all sorts of problems with that sword clipping my horns, because I wasn't wearing horns on the day.
Nor your Batman cape.
Yeah. So, yeah. Also the skirt, all the rest of it, my legs would be clipping through my skirt, unless we somehow, I don't know, what could we actually do? Could we anchor the skirt in some way to some part of the leg to make that work live? But there are a whole lot of things you have to actually do just to make that work smoothly.
Anyone?
Anyway.
Just the animation curves as of this moment. After we set some like key pose.
Yep, the endless smoothing of the curves.
Yeah.
Do you still hear it, Clarice? The smoothing of the curves? Silence of the Lambs. I don't know why it made me think of it.
No, me either. Linda probably hasn't
Smoothing
seen
of
it,
the
and I
curves
have.
and
I
Silence of the Lambs.
haven't seen it for I don't know, and didn't really enjoy that movie, I must say.
And just after lunch, I found my internet just not good again.
All right, so we had another internet problem here.
Yeah. So, do you know what the problem
You
is?
have to delete that last Windows update. That's exactly what went wrong with Ben as well.
Oh, I need to learn how to trick it.
I googled it, how to delete an update, and yeah, we just deleted the last one. Everybody's network went back to normal. So the trouble is, in a few days' time, it'll update it again.
Interesting.
Oh, looks like you're about to get married. Cute. All
We're
right.
just posing for
so
the photo, for the studio photo.
So what are we doing here?
I think it's just fix the key pose to make the arm works well with the sword.
How much facial motion have we got in this guy? Have we got much?
This one? No, we didn't have we didn't create much facial animation. Actually, I think we haven't. I didn't open his mouth yet.
Okay. But he is going to have a jaw hinge, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
And maybe his eyeballs can move.
eyeball? No, we didn't set the eyeball.
But we can't have him draw down his brows because his brows are gone, but he does have a ridge of bone that resembles brows.
Yes, yes. One day you may get over it.
So what kind of animation needs a facial animation for Kim Leon?
It's probably more about taunting than anything else, so him probably just moving his mouth,
Yeah. Does he
saying some sort of taunts. And his eyes would always be focused on you no matter what he was doing, so so that means his eyes, as his head moves, his eyes would actually focus in on the player.
Yeah.
There's Diego in the background there, coming in to help.
Yeah, I just want to say
And then
that.
disappeared like a magic trick. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So what else can we say about it?
And we actually nailed that pose, I have to say. That looks good.
We
nailed that
Oh,
pose.
that's cute. You're thinking of you and Leon as a team.
No. All of us.
Oh,
Because you guys were standing around giving me advice and all the rest of it.
I didn't have to give you much advice.
I think we just nailed that pose.
I did some cueing and that was about it.
Well, Linda was certainly telling me, no, you stuffed that up. No. you
See,
can
this
do-
is your ballet training
you can
coming
do
into
better.
view, isn't it? Hey,
Yeah.
don't even think about that.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. You can see how lithe and lovely I would have been as a ballet dancer.
You still know how to use your body, though. You still know how to use your feet and to do that sort of stuff, obviously. Hey,
I guess so.
because there you are doing it. Better than King Leon for a while. took Leon a while to catch up, I must
You
say.
said cook, Leon.
Shut up.
I just think about we have another character is the eye cross zombie.
Yes,
So-
cross-eyed Joe.
So what's the difference animation for him?
I don't think have we animated his eyeballs? I'm not sure.
No, I haven't read that character yet. So I'm thinking,
Okay.
are we just using the general zombies animation, or we need a special animation? Just
No,
like
he's
this?
actually, although he looks unique, he's actually just a standard zombie.
Hmm.
So he's got the same zombie.
Yeah.
Just a standard zombie. I love that
Yeah.
idea.
He's your average cross-eyed Joe.
He's the Toyota Corolla of the zombie world.
Indeed.
Just your basic model.
Yeah, I think I just need to rig that zombie and then share the same animation as the other zombies.
Hmm.
We normally could.
But we could add some facial animation to him just because he's got a creepy face.
Yeah. Yeah.
Make him tilt his head a lot more. Focus one eye on you, but not the other.
So why are the bones different colours? Oh, they're not. I can see. So the yellow ones are the body and the pink ones are the clothes.
Yeah,
Is that right?
the yellow one is just for the
And the green one was selected. Right?
yes, the yellow one is the human eye case controller bones part,
Mhm.
and the red one is actually the extra bones for the skirt or
The cape.
or the cape.
And is there some on that?
They are
Pauldrons
rigged
as well?
skeleton, and the yellow one just control the rigged skeleton.
Mhm.
They are not going to be exposed.
Okay, cool. Normally I can't shut you up.
Yeah.
Brooklyn.
Yes, I'm having a quiet day. Meditative, reflective.
That's not really the ideal on Twitch, is it?
No. Join in and watch me think
Oh fuck yeah! That sounds exciting.
in slow
Said no
motion.
one ever.
So more smoothing of the animation curves. How did you actually stop him cutting his horns off? That was because that was the trick for a while, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Make him use his sword without.
Those horns themselves are nasty little weapons, aren't they? Nasty headbutt from the side and it's all over,
Yeah.
really. That sword really should be able to take out like 3 people at once, shouldn't it? If you were strong enough to wield it.
Probably can. Actually, I mean, I know it looks outsized and all the rest of it, but if you see some of those Viking swords, man, oh man.
What were they made of?
They really had to work out every day of the week to
Oh god, it's the yawning
hoist and
place.
use those things.
What were Viking swords made of?
Metal.
Oh wow. That was the cheat answer, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well done.
I
Stones.
don't know. Sorry?
Stones.
Yeah. Stones and wood. Bound together with hide.
Well, Aztec swords were made out of stone.
They wouldn't have been as big as that one.
They were made out of jade, so they would have been like greenstone weapons here, basically. No, it wasn't jade. It was something else. But so one of the really nasty ones was made of wood with bits of stone actually embedded in the edge. So more like attacking somebody with a saw.
It's pleasant.
Yeah.
What
Was
a
it
lovely thought.
cherts or something, or quartz or something like that was actually embedded in the edge? But yeah, particularly nasty.
How very delightful. Well, this looks a little bit plain then by comparison.
Hmm. I'm not sure how many wars they were involved in. They did seem to dominate where they were until the Spanish came.
I don't know too much about swords.
Oh, there's bound to be a Jane's on swords somewhere where you can find out. They have Jane's on all sorts of other weapons. Do you know Jane's?
So
Interesting.
something that I know nothing about is going to give me information on something else that I know even less about.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Jane's is basically a publication about military and intelligence, essentially. So it's they have weapons, they have histories. The Jane's Intelligence Review even has modern day private intelligence on what's happening around the world.
Oh.
Yeah. Which I keep meaning to actually have a read of from time to time and see how well countries are representing what's actually happening, because I take it when you listen to your government give you information on whatever's happening, that you're listening to a lot of spin.
Yeah.
And I don't think that Janes actually have to put any spin on anything. They can just tell it as it is.
I wonder if James knows much about the zombie swords.
I don't know. I don't remember zombies being any sort of category that they used.
Imagine that. Well, that's something they need to lift their game on.
Yeah, it's disappointing that there's such a hole in
Fuck yeah.
their catalogue and their otherwise fine set of publications.
Yeah. Just stripped cred for me.
And he's got a muscular leg for somebody that's only got bones for arms.
He's bloody strong for somebody who's got no muscles too.
Yeah.
That's a big fucking sword.
Because he wears the long boots.
All right. So the long boots, they'd be really like wellies on him because there's only tiny little bones inside. Sort of flop around a bit when he's walking.
I'm looking at Jane's right now.
Yep. Oh, there we are, Jane's.
Who the fuck is Jane?
I don't know. I gather he was a captain in something or other. Well, he was a military commander, but something like that.
It's all rather dry and weapony.
Can you find Jane's Intelligence Review? There
I'm
we
sure
are.
this is why people watch Twitch.
Yes, to find out about Jane's. Guys, if you're doing any sort of video game making at all that involves weapons and all the rest of it, go and check out Jane's. You'll be happy that you did.
For fuck's sake. But wait, there's more. Okay, so there's Diego again.
There's
in the
Diego.
way. So we said at the beginning of this was about tweening.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is these are the tween animations. So we couldn't get from fighting, from the idle animation, in the normal, sword thrusts and parries and all the rest of it that we captured for the 3 attacks. We didn't actually have one that went from idle, which is just standing there holding your sword, to actually attacking.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually needed that tween animation, this in-between animation, to actually get us into the pose where we're ready to attack.
It's not strictly a tween though, is it? Because I thought the tween was...
Between keyframes. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
So this isn't actually a tween at all.
That was just my bizarre naming of the thing.
Okay, well that's
it's sort of
misleading, isn't it?
It's a tween in the sense that it is in between idle and attack.
Yes.
Yeah. So not entirely misleading.
Technically misleading.
I also create another in between animation. It's from the idle to walk.
Oh, from the idle to walk. Okay.
Yeah. Because they walk.
Because he drags the sword. Ah,
Yeah.
of course. Of course, I didn't think of that one. Is
Oh,
that on this video
no,
or is that
it's-
another
it's-
video?
It's another video. Actually, it's, I'm thinking about is from the idle to the walk. Is first to link to the that confident one. Just
Mhm.
carry the sword.
Sword
with
on
it.
his shoulder? Yeah.
Yes, and then I think
Then we
that-
need one from attack down to dragging the sword, because that only happens after attacks, right?
Yes.
Or when he gets hit, I think. Oh, actually, yeah, we'd better talk that over with Ben, how we do that one,
Yeah, I think maybe we
because that'll
we
be
need
somewhat
other
programmatic.
others animation like the King Leon being attacked. So what's the other maybe animation for him?
What are you adjusting there, Linda?
Hips.
Yeah. Okay.
Hips.
So-
Hip, just hip. Not
Hips. Yep. So what are you adjusting for? What are you trying to achieve?
To make his body in balance.
Okay. So is this like an adjustment?
Yes.
So you've basically got the whole thing sorted out,
Yeah.
and now you're going back and adjusting.
Yes,
All the different
because
bits.
the reference video with the legs position is not exactly same as the zombies one, so I need to adjust for the body's pose to suit the both legs
Okay.
to make him could reality just standing on the ground, not just like leaning to the left or right.
Right. Okay.
Oh look,
Okay.
Brook's
Oh, look at
face. Oh, look seriously.
Yeah, yeah.
Brook looks like a mean bastard.
And the way I'm going to whack you with this camera tripod.
Yeah, Leon's in a bit of trouble there.
But yeah, we should. That's one point where we should actually close his mouth and make him look a little more grim. So once we've actually got some jaw hinge, we might actually. Look at me! Look at me!
These animations look seriously so different when they're speeded up, don't they?
Yes.
And this is speeded up like 3.5 times. So
Timing is everything. This video, yes. Oh, a yawning place. I can't help yawning when we sit here. Not bored, honest.
It's interesting because in China we normally will have like another half hour or 1 hour after lunchtime to just you could just
Have a nap?
take a nap.
yeah,
Yeah, for some
siesta.
some company have a very small just like a sofa thing, or you can take a nap.
What a good idea.
That is a good idea. We should have
love it.
siesta here.
Yeah.
and for most of us we just like on the days.
Right. And that's okay.
And yeah, I always chew. I don't know why. After I woke up, I always just feel I swallow lots of air in my stomach.
Weird.
Yeah,
What were you doing while you were asleep?
I don't know. Just after that, I just
Eating air.
to have some air from my stomach too.
How bizarre. That is really weird.
Yeah.
So there we are. Everybody's learned about it. The Chinese tradition of siesta. Hey Sergi, do the Spanish have siesta?
siesta.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
So she said, what's that?
It's Chinese going out there. We have siesta.
It says Stickmen Media went offline.
Yeah, because we work
for you.
too long time.
Sounds right.
Sometimes we're going to the, we just go off work maybe about 10 p.m. So it's possible, very possible to have a nap after that.
So you
Sounds like a
work
wonderful
long
idea.
days by the sound of it there.
Yes.
You work long days here. You're here usually after everybody else.
Just because I need to wait my husband to pick me.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes I really want to finish my work for today's plan.
Yeah. Yeah, I've noticed you don't just sit in here and doodle or watch YouTube cat fails or anything. You actually
Yeah,
You're actually
sometimes
working.
I do to watch the cat videos.
Oh, very good.
Make me happy.
I like those too.
Yeah.
Margaret likes it when cats get scared.
I do. I love it when cats get
The
frights.
cucumber, right?
Yes, the cucumber.
The
Exactly.
cucumber and the cat.
Yes.
I tried to my cat, but
No,
she just feel what's that?
No.
Just feel
It's
very
very
normal.
disappointing, isn't it?
paint a
Yes.
face on it and then put it down.
I don't think it's the face. I think
It's the
some
face
cats
makes
are
it.
weird with cucumbers.
Somebody just said, I did actually know this, I'm sorry, I was being a smart aleck. Denvereski, is that how I say your name? Said siesta is a Spanish word.
Okay.
I was actually aware of that, so I was being a bit foolish by suggesting that it was Chinese.
That's
The
very
Chinese have a tradition that's like siesta, but presumably it has a Chinese name, right? What is the name for the sleep in the middle of the day? Do you, like nap or?
It's just like 午休. It's
午休? 午休.
directly means just long rest.
Okay.
Yeah, rest on
How do
the
I say it?
after lunch. 午休.
午休. Good. There we are. Sorry about that. Yes, 午休, not siesta. Yes. So what are we up
And
to
we're
now?
back.
Yes,
Back
it's
to the
very, very normal actually, because even not working in my family, just like last time when I have my holiday back with my families, and after lunch, maybe like from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m., my parents just can't to stop the sleepy feeling, so always ask me, why don't you sleep for a while? So they will always just take 1 hour snap after lunch.
Well, it happens to me. I think we might need it because, like as you're saying, sitting here, it's directly after lunch, so it's straight after lunch. 1 o'clock. A number of times I've sort of nodded off in the middle of this stream
Yes.
and had to sort of.
Oh, I think it's just sitting
In fact,
an
Margaret
airless space.
punched me once to wake me up when I fell asleep during the stream.
Yeah, after you food and drink well, you just feel very, very easy to fall
Yeah.
asleep.
Yeah, lie on the couch and have a little nap.
Yes.
We need a couch.
I
Well,
just like
We need
some
10 couches.
air to breathe, but the door's shut, and that's probably all.
Yeah. How many people have we actually got on? No, not that many.
No, because we're not talking about freaking animation.
We are talking about animation and naps.
Still funny. Different cultures.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So we are smoothing again. I'm not sure how many times we can say. Yes, we are smoothing animation curves.
Maybe we should
One more time.
keep streaming that then.
Well, Ed, I mean, people. My judgment is people are really interested in this animation stuff. They like to see it, but when we're actually talking about it, you keep coming back to smoothing animation curves. So yeah, that's when it's nice to take a break and talk about naps.
Yes, but if that's all there ever is.
Margaret punching me.
You're welcome.
Yeah. We could remark on what those animation curves look like.
Well, for anybody who hasn't watched the stream or doesn't know, we could talk about what those animation curves actually are, since they take up such... And we could even talk about it in detail, since they
Very
take up
good.
such a large proportion of the stream.
Okay, so to give a little bit of background, each of those animation curves represents the position of a joint in a number of dimensions, so x, y and
Z.
z,
Z.
yes, dimensions. Now there are in fact 6 curves, aren't there, that are on any given screen?
Yes.
Why 6 instead of
It's
3?
like 3 for the translation.
Right.
3 for the rotation.
For the rotation.
If possible, you could also have the scale. Have another 3 for the scales.
Alright, so if we were actually shrinking the guy or all the rest of
Yes.
it, we would have 3 lots of 3 curves.
Yes.
But we actually, because we're not scaling this guy, we have 2 lots of 3 curves, translation and rotation, x, y and z.
Also have another option is about the visibility.
With the what?
Oh, sorry. It's with the how can I spell it? We just to turn that on and the object will show on, and turn that off. You cannot see the object.
Okay. Alright.
That's I said for the sword. You remember I just create 2 pieces of the sword for the
Yep.
front
Still
part.
not clear why you did that, but
Yeah, it's all just for the animation. So I just to hide another pair of the sword,
okay.
to show another pair of the one.
Alright.
So you can you see they are just one, but actually they have 2 swords. It's hard to explain.
I'm a little mystified.
Yeah.
We will have to go over that again, because I'm sure there is a very good reason for having 2 swords merged into the place of one.
Currently, those swords are just like a herb object. It's not the final animation.
Hmm?
So for the final one, I actually have another joint to in the parent to the hand to bake the animation from the sword. So it could, because the sword always have the movement. It's not just as a skeleton soldier's sword just follow the hand.
So is that why we have 2? So one is the one that's actually going to be parented to his hand,
Yes.
and the other one is just the sword itself
Yes.
to actually use while you're working out the
Yes,
animation,
so
so
I
that you
need
can see
to-
where his finger positions
Yeah.
are and all that.
That's why I need
Now
to.
I get it.
That's why I need to create the joint to for the sword, because we cannot create the animation in the Unreal just parent to the socket to the rig. But if we create the sword joint, so we can actually record some animation
Yeah.
for this sword. So the sword could just, for sometimes this sword could just leave the hand, and then you could just make the sword just follow by your arm. That's why we need 2 different
Yeah.
controller for the sword.
Yeah, so you're
Finally.
really animating 2 things, aren't you?
Finally.
Yeah. Everybody's doing his sturdy ice cream again. Have you ever seen them make ice cream on the street vendors make
Ice
ice cream? Yeah, in places like, in places where they have street
Like
vendors. But
Zombieland.
Thailand is one of the ones I think. But they make ice cream on the street, so they've got a cold plate and they keep turning and mixing
yeah.
the mixture on the thing until it turns to ice cream. That's what that reminded me of when he was doing his sword thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I really need to do some draw animation for this poor guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we must never forget faces. Faces are fairly important for...
Yes. Okay, I will
Even
add,
in zombies.
I will add some draw animation before I export the FBX.
We are fortunate with zombies is that usually there's not much animation in the face because their eyeballs tend to have dried up and gone away,
Yes.
and their mouths just open and close
So-
because their lips are all...
Everything's a bit floppy or crispy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if we want to add some like talking animation while he is doing the just idle pose,
Mhm.
I think I could just create another separate just draw open and close of one,
Mhm.
and then just like a blend shape and mix them together.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, need to learn. Yeah, but I think Unreal can do that. I saw some tutorial talking about this.
Are you having fun with Unreal?
Oh yes, I'm quite happy to know how to link those textures, and I can view those animations in the final engine, game
Mhm.
engine. Yeah, it's good for me to check the animations problem. Just like last time, I just found this for some animation have some little bit like tweaking on the arms.
Mhm.
So it's really easy to directly to know by yourself, then just pass by other people and like then tell me there's something wrong maybe because they might not know what kind of animation you actually want to achieve.
Well, I guess that's right, because not everybody has Maya, but everybody has Unreal on their desktops here,
Yes.
so
Yes,
um,
that's
so you
very
can definitely
good.
show your stuff off to everybody.
Yes.
Yeah, Maya licenses tend to be a bit expensive. We wouldn't have them for all the
Yeah.
developers, but
Unreal is good. It's free.
but Unreal is free up until you publish at least. Which reminds me, we need to engage those guys and find out what sort of deal we can get for when we publish. Well, he's already looking pretty smooth at doing the sword stuff, so he did train well with me.
You clearly imparted your expert knowledge.
Yeah.
So now his bones are purple. Is there a reason for that?
This part of the skeleton is just rigged for the mesh. So this part of the skeleton will export as the FBX to record those animation informations.
Mm-hmm.
So rather than the human IK,
Yes.
which is a skeleton just provided by Maya.
Yeah.
So this is our skeleton.
Yeah. Normally we just firstly we work on this human IK to after that we bake the animation to the skeleton rigged skeleton, and also we
So that's
can
the human IK one there.
yes
Yeah.
also we can bake the animation frame from the rigged skeleton to the human IK. That's very the good part for the human IK is that's how we transfer the different animation from the different skeleton rigs.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's got kangaroo feet here.
Why is kangaroo face?
They look like kangaroo feet, just the way they go down.
Well, that could be useful.
Yeah.
If
Just
it
thought
starts
he looked
springing around.
pretty unusual. So we're nearly at the end, Linda. Any lessons for people out there about doing this sort of animation? What did you learn about in-betweening King Leon's animations?
It's very just remember to find the first frame and the end frame is need to match to the other animations you want to link to, and then just as the normals, add the keyframes in the middle and solve the animation curves.
Yes, always smooth the animation curves.
Yeah, and very important is you need to focus about the legs and the hips. If you do the reference, you can't make sure your legs is same as your character, and you need to do some changes. And if you feel uncomfortable with the maybe the first frame and end frame, if you change them, you need to change the other animations, like the idol animation I create, because I changed the pose, so I need to change the idol animation as well.
Yeah. All right, so very important. So that's the final animation that we're looking at there
Yes.
in real time. So this is not
Yes.
advanced speed, that's real time.
Yes.
Okay, very good. All right, well, that's our stream for today. So thank you, Linda, for showing us
Thank you.
some more animation stuff with King Leon. We will catch you again tomorrow at 1 p.m. New Zealand Standard Time, which is UTC plus 12. And we'll be continuing the streaming of something to do with developing our game After the Light. So thank you, everybody, and if I can find the mouse and
Good
the
night.
software, I will sign us out of here after an appropriate 7 to 10 second delay so that it doesn't cut off the very end of the stream. Thank you, everybody.